Have you ever had trouble with your houseplants deteriorating come winter? Have you tried all sorts of methods to save them, but nothing seems to work? Well, in this video, I'll be sharing an unconventional solution born out of desperation to save my struggling plants. I used a fish tank. Yes, I thought that with proper setup, an aquarium can house the environment needed by struggling plants to return from the brink of death. So join me in testing this theory and witness for yourselves the journey and outcome of this project spanning weeks, because I can say that the results blew me away. To save my dying tropical plants, I believe that they need exposure to elements that closely matches their native environment. I deduce that I'll need three crucial elements to succeed. For one, I need a high relative humidity of at least 70 degrees, an increased air temperature averaging 77 degrees Fahrenheit at its peak and no lower than 64 degrees, and finally, prolonged daylight hours more than 10 hours a day. With these factors in mind, I will be transforming a 12-gallon aquarium into a tropical plant haven. Now, you might be thinking, how in the world will I achieve this? Well, here's what I did. For lighting, I strategically placed the aquarium next to a northeast-facing window so it can benefit from bright, indirect light. Then, I filled the bottom fifth of the tank with water, which has two crucial roles to play, being the source of humidity and the source of heat, thanks to the submerged aquarium heater. Additionally, instead of using the traditional hood of the tank, I used saran wrap to seal in the heat and humidity while also allowing for maximum natural light possible. Finally, to simulate prolonged daylight, I used a table lamp to extend the lighting hours until 9 p.m. every day. Now, let me formally introduce to you the plant participants of this project. First up is a Syngonium red arrow, a personal favorite of mine that was thriving but took a sudden turn for the worse. To my surprise, it was bound in this tiny pot, making extraction difficult. I initially tried to save it via water propagation using my shrimp tank, which worked wonders for my peace lily. Over the course of weeks, the rotting wouldn't stop and not a single node would activate. Frantically, I switched it to pure sphagnum moss, only to get the same results. With barely any vine left, my chance of success grows thinner by the day. Next is my philodendron micans that unexpectedly developed root rot. Spending weeks in the shrimp tank, it finally activated new roots, and so I thought this project could help supercharge its recovery. Another is an Anthurium adrianum offshoot that has not progressed much this past few months. It would be interesting to see if it would fare any differently within this manufactured environment. The fourth participant is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that was pretty much dormant since I acquired it back in November. I repotted it this January, and suffice to say, it did not like it. It didn't take long to get droopy, and as I feared, its roots were rotting, so I'm really hoping it can bounce back from this. And as a last-minute addition, I included a very sad-looking silver lace fern. Ferns are notorious for being sensitive to elements outside their comfort zone, and so I believed it could benefit participating in this project. Plus, I had the extra space. Now, to complete the setup, let's look at some readings. Hygrometer reads 70 degrees humidity. The room thermometer reads 53 degrees Fahrenheit, and the thermometer going in the fish tank also reads 53 degrees Fahrenheit. I set the aquarium heater to 78 degrees as a start, hoping this will be enough to warm the tank as close as possible to 77 degrees or 25 degrees Celsius. I checked later that night to see if the tank had warmed up. The evidence of condensation was promising, and I was elated to see that the thermometer was reading a temperature increase, because that meant that so far, this project is panning out as I imagined. And let me tell you, it only gets more exciting from here. the morning after and I'm anxious to have a check. With so much condensation, I can barely see anything inside. And there it is. The temperature has risen. It looks around 73 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll take that. Humidity has also jumped close to 80 degrees. As I reach to inspect the plants, I clearly feel the heat. It's like a sauna in there, and I was left in envy while I endured my chilly bedroom. It's just been a day, so I wasn't expecting any change from the plants, but I did just want to check if anything was going awry. It's been a week, and I'm super excited to see the developments. Let's start with the anthurium. I know it's not ideal to be checking them like this, but I have to see how the roots are doing, so I was gentle. Wow, these roots are definitely new. They look so healthy too. 2 months in moss and the roots did nothing, but 1 week in the tropical glasshouse and this is the result? I'm really impressed and ecstatic to see the rest now. The Rhaphidophora seems to have suffered some damage, but I'm more concerned about the roots since it did have severe root rot. Wow, these too are new roots. Forgive me if I'm not removing all of the moss, but some of the roots have latched on the moss and I don't want to damage these newly formed roots. Despite some yellow leaves, I'm happy with this progress. Now, the red arrow syngonium does not look good, but I'm hoping it has rooted some. Oh no, I was afraid of this. No roots, just rot taking over the vine. Unfortunately, there are no nodes left for these vines to be viable. I guess it's time to say goodbye. But no, I think this one vine may still have a chance. I'll keep it and give it another week. And now the mic... Of course. Ignore the pothos cutting for now. It's going to be the subject of another video. Okay. I can see new roots, but they seem to have regressed. Where are the roots from their time in the shrimp tank? Did they melt away? That's not good. Lastly, the silver lace fern shows no sign of recovery. I was aggressive trimming all of its fronds, so now I'm quite worried that was a mistake. It's a mixed bag of results, but I remain quite optimistic. Oh, yes, there's a new roommate in this house. This tricolor fern was looking really rough, and since I had enough remaining space, I thought this fella could get the spa treatment. Another plant to look forward to. It's been several days since the last checkup, but I spy with my little eye a new leaf in the making? Oh my! For 3 months it's had nothing to show for, and in a span of 10 days in this glass house, and it's giving me finally my first leaf. I'm overjoyed. Let's carefully inspect the others. Well, that seems to be the only development for now. It's officially 2 weeks now and I'm anxious. This here is my silver sword philodendron, which I just placed in here yesterday, so we won't check it today. Let's check the syngonium first. Oh my gosh! That's a root! Yes! I'm so glad I kept it for another week. I can still see rotting, and that's concerning. We're not out of the woods yet, but I have real hope now. Next, the micans. The roots have really melted on this one. But here is a new root. This one appears to have more root development. Oh dear, that one just came off. There is some rotting. I'll cut it off and inoculate it with cinnamon. Hopefully that settles it. Now let's see the anthurium. Amazing! More root development. I hope you can see it. They've latched on to more moss, so I'd rather not risk any damage to them. My oh my, this Rhaphidophora is looking fantastic. It has really perked up, and the new leaf, though tiny, has fully unfurled already. The root development is quite astonishing. What a turnaround! How about the tricolor fern? It's looking worse than last week. But look at this! Baby fronds have emerged! They look so strange! I'm gonna trim the brownest parts so that they don't rot and cause a mold outbreak in the glass house. But my oh my, is this exciting! The silver lace fern has no signs of development. The tricolor fern shot out new fronds within a week, and this has been 2 weeks inside with no progress. I'm almost convinced that I just straight up killed this fella. What a big mistake. Now 3 weeks in, and I'm highly impressed with the progress. Let's start with the anthurium because I'm seeing a lot already. The roots are reaching out of the cup. Just wow! Whoa, and a new leaf about to emerge? These roots are growing crazy. It's super visible, so no need to remove the moss. Now let's see how the micans is doing. The moss is on the drier side, it feels, so I'll need to rehydrate them. No apparent change for this one, huh? I can definitely see the root growth, but it's hard to show because they've latched to the moss, which I won't remove at this point. The roots are delicate on this one. Just gonna trim this rotting part and dab some cinnamon. And look at this beauty! My pride! It's doing so well! The new leaf has fully unfurled, though this has no fenestrations. Simply astounding how fast these roots are growing. At this rate, it will fill the cup. Now, let's check my greatest worry. Okay, the root has grown a bit, but so has the rot. Should I trim it off? I don't know. It's dangerously close to the root. I'll trim just a tiny bit. Why won't it stop? Anyway, this is the best chance I've had so far with this fella, so I remain optimistic. Now let me introduce to you the silver sword. This is so gorgeous. The silvery sheen on the leaf, and when lit at an angle, it has this shimmering look to it. It appears there's a new leaf emerging, and 2 aerial roots have activated. Not surprising with all the humidity in there. I'll just trim that brown spot. Still no development from the silver lace fern. It's really looking grim at this point, but I'm hesitating to call it's over, so I'll keep it for one last week. Next up, the tricolor fern. The baby fronds are baby no more. Wow, it looks so strange. It's almost like they're from another planet. That's why they're called the tricolor fern, because the new fronds start red, then they go bronze over time until they become fully green. I'm eager to see this transition. I just want to say that a few days within this setup, I realized that I should leave the top partly open, which I did ever since. This way it emulated natural day-night temperature changes and would allow for some good ventilation. Coincidentally, the condensation that would accumulate under the saran wrap would form droplets that would naturally water the plants, as if like rainfall. I didn't plan for that, so it was a pleasant surprise. What do you think so far of this project? My mind was blown away with the results. For the most part, the three major elements proved how crucial they are for plant health. Don't worry, because the story doesn't end here. Stay tuned for the next episode to see their progress. Will the red arrow make a full recovery? Will the silver lace fern come around? New tenants in the glass house? Who will thrive? And who won't survive?